to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
So you performed last night. How was that?
Jackal's celebrating 25 years, consecutive years, playing at the Full Throttle Saloon. We've played Sturgis for probably 30 plus, but I mean, for 25 consecutive years, the Bikers balled there at the Full Throttle Saloon. It was, and the 10-year anniversary of us being at the new location. So it was an all-around celebration, and the 85th on top of that. It was great.
You did different things to the new location this year, right? Did you remodel, made some changes?
Well, we finally completed the bridge. You know, the bridges were all at the old location, and with the fire and it burned everything down, we'd moved the bridges over, but there was just the carcasses. And because the integrity of the bridges were compromised because of the fire, so actually we had to build a new bridge within those structures. So they're cosmetically they're there, and they represent the spirit of the original Full Throttle, and it kind of makes everything feel like home again.
So what's the biggest change you've seen, like, in rock music since the 90s?
Well, you know, people are so, you know, they're so spread out over so many different mediums of how they get their music, right? I mean, the digital and the internet, just everything just changed. So, you know, the masses are just all over the place. So it's just, I think the biggest thing I've seen in music is just that, you know, you don't corral people. It used to be a rock station, a country station, and a pop station. Now people are just finding what they like. So it's just the diversity is probably the biggest change, because people are all over the place. And when, you know, when you go to festivals even these days, you know, they're mixing it up. There's so many different kinds of music at a festival. It's not just like a rock festival or a country festival. They're really mixing it up now. So it's interesting to see the diversity, which Europe has always been like that. Europe is always this. We've gotten very European in our diversity of music.
That's pretty cool. So what was the first reaction like the first time that you tried out one of your chainsaw solos to the crowd?
You know, it kind of came about by accident many years ago. And I carried a chainsaw into a nightclub before we ever had success, before we ever had a record deal. And I carried a chainsaw in just to cut stuff up, because I knew we were going to set the sales and attendance record that night. So we went in and I was cutting it up, and the club owner was losing his mind. But at the end of the night, we were jamming around on some blues, and all the guitar players were taking their lead breaks, showing off with the girls, and I thought, well, I can't be left out of that. So I grabbed the chainsaw, and that's how it came about, just acting a fool, and just a very rock and roll thing, and it stuck.
So when you write music, what's the first thing that comes to you? The riff, the hook, or the story that you tell?
You know, it varies. I mean, it could be any of the, just anyway. So there's one album that I wrote. I'd been riding my motorcycle a lot. There's one album where a lot of the songs were I just kind of heard them in my head going down the road, and I'd stop and pull over and just kind of hum stuff into the phone. You know, and then there's other times when I'm sitting on the couch at home and I've got my guitar and some kind of riffs, or sometimes somebody just says something profound and I got to write a song about it. So it comes from everywhere.
Do you feel, looking back, like there was a Jackal song that was underrated and deserved more attention? You know, there was a song called "She's Not a Drug," and I always thought she's not a drug. That was just that, and another song that it had a kind of boom chakalaka like it. Just there's always songs that you think, man, people are going to connect with, and then out of the blue, there's songs that you didn't think was going to be big. Like we have a song called "Just Because I'm Drunk Don't Mean You're Right." And that song is just turned into its own thing. I never expected it, but I can just go, just because I'm drunk, and the crowd will just start singing it, you know. So you just never know what people are going to connect with. So if you go back in time and give 1992 Jesse a piece of advice, what would you tell him?
You know what? I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, it's not like I have any regrets of anything with what we've done. We've stuck to our guns. We've never tried to be anything that we're not. And just a celebration of the fundamentals of rock and roll. 2 guitar, bass and drums, chainsaw, if you will, whatever it takes to get the job done. I generally find that the people that understand what the fundamentals of rock and roll are all about, they'll come out and they jump in. It's not about seeing the show, they're part of the show. The people that don't understand about celebrating the fundamentals of rock and roll, those are generally the same people that have a hard time admitting that they masturbate.
What's one of the most insane things that you've seen happen during the concerts? And I'm sure you've seen a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, you do see a lot, especially in Sturgis. I mean, Sturgis, there's no holes. I mean, last we're out there playing, and an elf drives through on a little mini bike. You know, it's just like, where the hell does this stuff come from? We had for a while we used to have this little small person named Donald, and we were jamming, and he was standing down the barricade, and he was a muscled up little fella, and he'd go get to jamming and stuff, but he stuck his crotch in this girl's face, and this grown size man just punched him, and he went flying down. He went flying down right during the show. Here he goes flying down in front of us. Whoa! You know, you see the silliness stuff, but overall, man, it's always such a great vibe.
What surprised you the most? Somebody must have done something in the stage, like in the crowd one time, and it was like, what? Something you didn't expect.
Well, there was one time at the Full Throttle Saloon that we had the Dom triplets. They were in Playboy magazine, three identical triplets, and I turned around and they came marching out on stage topless, and so nothing I was expecting, but I was definitely not mad about it.
The good surprises.
Yeah.
What kind of pre-show adrenaline rush do you get these days?
Generally, there's just been so much going on prior to the shows with all my Harley Davidson partners. At every show we play, all the dealerships come out. Generally, I'm just really wrapped up in all of our guests, and then I hear the intro tape rolling. Oh, I got to go. You know, last night I was talking to a couple of guys from Harley, literally, and we were at the bar backstage and getting a drink, and then I heard my intro. I was going, I got to go. So I generally don't even have time to think about it.
So I feel like you're the music man first, that's the first thing you are. But when did all these other hats come on? Full Throttle, whiskey. When did all this come about?
I don't know. I just get away with it, and the more I do, the more that it begets something else popping up. Opportunities just seem to find us, and very blessed in that way.
It takes so much to run a bar, I know, and I mean, you had a lot of challenges because one of the places burned down.
Yeah.
What, and it keeps you going. What drives you to keep on going and keep doing this?
I got a wife and 3 kids that say, "Daddy, I want, Daddy, I need," so I just keep working.
And the whiskey thing, when did this come about?
God, about 12 years ago, and maybe longer, 15 years ago, and I was consulting Sidney Franks, and who brought Grey Goose and Jägermeister to America, and I was consulting their company for some marketing, and I just felt like, and I was consulting Zippo Lighters and the Harley Davidson Motor Company, and I just thought, man, I'm building all these brands for other people, I might as well build my own, and just one thing led to another, and it started to expand. We had the honey bourbon, the spice bourbon, the 80 proof, the 90 proof, the barrel strength, it got the Devil's Devil cinnamon whiskeys. It just keep adding, it grows.
And so it took a lot of tastings, I bet, to get the perfect batch sometimes. How was that process?
Yeah, we did. You're very correct on that. We had with the honey bourbon, we were just trying different recipes, and at all the events we would play, I'd grab 10 or 15 people and take them in the back and taste sample against other brands. And I didn't let up until we had narrowed it down, and what we have now is just kicking everybody's ass. It's really the best honey bourbon on the market.
Is that one of your favorite flavors, the honey bourbon?
I like the honey bourbon, especially with singing and stuff. I like to have it on stage with me.
How do you get your voice staying good night after night?
I don't want to think about it. I just get up there and do my thing.
Have you ever gone up there and been like, oh my God?
If it's not there, then you just push a little harder.
You just, oh gosh, you do whatever it takes to get it there. What's the one thing about the rock and roll life that the fans get wrong?
That's a good question. I think that they don't realize that the show is right at 2 hours long, but there's 22 other hours in the day, and I don't think that anyone can realize being on the road for a couple of months at a time. Every day you're filling those 22 hours. It's just, and you're living in a basically in a fishbowl of a bus. So it's that it's not as romantic as they would think it is as far as being on that bus.
What new music do you like? Is there another rocker up and coming that you're like, man, I want to see their career go? Or you see yourself in somebody?
You know, I've been working with my son Nigel, and he's doing really, really great, and I'm excited about his new music coming out. And just, you know, I mean, for me personally, I love old country music. I mean, I'm just, especially in the last few years, I've just really, that's all I listen to. That and early '70s stuff. I mean, I just love, like, especially some of the groove stuff, like, you know, God, like Parliament, Funkadelic, and stuff like. Just stuff's got a good groove to it. Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of stuff. That's been stuff. I love great bass lines.
So is your son performing with you sometimes, or what?
He does, yeah. He comes out and sits in with us. And, yeah, he runs around being good looking, and he's a starving musician, but we feed him.
Where can we hear his music at?
Nigel Dupree on Spotify. He's got a new album going to be coming out probably first of next year.
And what about the writing process with you? Do you guys come out with anything new? I know that people just
I'm actually working on a solo record. My son's playing on that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that'll be coming out early 26 as well.
Are you going to play it with Jackal when you guys play at full throttle, or you don't know yet?
Not sure yet. I don't know. I mean, Jeff just came out with a solo record. I mean, we support each other. But
so sometimes you guys throw
there's
one
plenty of Jackal to go around.
Well, that is awesome. So where can we purchase this whiskey for those people that are watching in California?
In a lot of states where we're with Republic National, they just, I don't know what they're doing in California because they just went through some changes. So that'll be interesting.
I will make sure they get it in my bar if I can. You don't know where it's sold in California?
Well, like I say, Republic National just kind of changed, so I don't know what they're doing. So, but I would say call Republic National, but I got to let the dust settle. But we can
order it though. People can order it that are watching.
Yeah, any distributor you work with, pick your distributor and tell them they should get it in, and we'll tell them to call me.
And people can order it like at their.
But we're in Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Kansas, Missouri, New York. I mean, we're all up and down the East Coast there.
And this is a special batch. Where this is aged 10 years.
Straight out of the barrel into the bottle. Just very limited bottles here, and the barrel straight is 115 proof.
Wow. Sorry y'all can't try this one at home, but we're going to get to it. Let's try it.
Yeah, you want to open one up here? Right. Here we go.
How are you feeling this Sturgis? What's different about being the 85th year?
What is what?
Different about this Sturgis being the 85th year?
I mean, I think we had a record year this year. I mean, it's been great crowds. They came in hot too. Like last Wednesday, they came in early. So.
Kind of exciting, right? Like the new place, it's all done, 85th year.
Here's to you.
Got the new whiskey.
Here's to the 85th, and here's to meeting you. Good luck with your show. Pow.
Oh, that's really good.
That'll light you up.
Hair on my chest. Love it. Thank you.
I like a woman that can handle her brown liquor.
out here, and this is beautiful. You have some beautiful art.
Thank you. It's nice to see you, and I'm happy you're here. To be quite honest with you,
Well,
it's
I met you as a photographer, and I saw that that's all. Like, I knew you did a lot of like landscape photography. I saw you did a lot of cool photography. You've done photos for me, and then how did that turn into this?
So I was living out of a van, taking photos and traveling, and wildlife was that's my thing. You know what I mean? Birds are a passion. But anyways, and I got lucky and I met the dolls, and Jordan and Ashley doll, and they bought some photos and we became friends, and we decided that I might be able to do this. And so I've been an apprentice and learning and working, and now I'm carving every day in Deadwood. So
This is a pretty big hobby. I mean, it's not one of those things that like, oh, I just decided to do this, and then
it's hurt my photography.
because you don't even have time for that anymore.
No, I carve here every day. I take Thanksgiving off, Christmas off, but that's about it. It's good though. I live in paradise,
So
like
you
literally.
love it. You fell in love with it. You just fell in love with a new hobby, and now it's your jam.
Yeah, pretty much. It gave me a peace that I like, a satisfaction of self. Does that make sense?
So they told you like, hey, have you ever thought about carving? Is that what happened in the photos?
More or less. And I'll just tell it like it is. You can learn how to do this, right? It's like a Rubik's Cube. When you're solving it, there's a pattern to it. So you learn how to carve bears first, and then you learn how to carve eagles, and there's patterns. And after a while, you start to develop like a different eye, even than the people that taught you, right? And so what ends up happening is you start making your own pieces, and then it just kind of grows. And I'm blessed. Like most people most carvers have to travel like constantly, and they struggle, and they have to go to county fairs and all that. And
Most people aren't good right away
Well,
at something. So I'm like blown away. I'm like, all of a
The
sudden
only
you're like
reason-
this amazing artist.
the
Like, what?
only reason I'm good at it is because of who taught me. That can't be stressed enough.
Do you think your eye for photography did help too?
Oh, for sure. Especially when like you're doing the fur, you're doing the feathers. A lot of guys that do this for a living, they wanna be fast. I'm never gonna be super fast. I take too much time probably on feathers, but I dig it. You know what I mean? I like the way it looks, and I carve a lot of repetitive pieces because at the end of the day, everybody's an artist until they got to pay rent, right? So I carve a lot of repetitive pieces, but it's like every piece is different because it's wood. The grain in the eagle's beak is different, or the way the bear burns when you cut it, and because that's how we'll put the color in most of them.
No two pieces are alike, right?
Correct. Well,
They're alike. They're not the same.
only one person gets to buy the original, right? Just like any art form. You go to a gallery, say Wyland's Gallery down in Florida, right? And you buy a piece, and if it's the original, it's expensive, but then you get reproductions, you get prints, So we have carvings all throughout the hills. We've got a giant bison down by Custer. I think it's 37 feet tall, and it was more of a construction project because of its size. But then we figured out a way to carve a smaller piece that looks similar to it that people can take home. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. How you been?
I just can't get over this. This is really cool. What's your favorite out of all these pieces here? Do you have a favorite? Or
Yes,
you probably sold
but
your
I
favorite.
didn't carve it. But it is my favorite.
Ah.
I didn't carve it. It's called the Five Heads right there.
The 5 head.
Yeah, and it's a Native American piece, and honestly, the way that it's patinaed out, and then with the snow on it, they look like they have tears.
That is true. That is pretty.
It's in the winter. There's times I'll just sit there and look at it for an hour before I do anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's inspirational to where I want to get. I can carve a bird. You know.
What about this? Who carved this that we're sitting
So
on
this
here?
was here before I started. Jordan and Jared Dahl built this, and I think there was a lady named Amy. The only credit I can take on this is the hat.
You made the hat?
Yeah, we had to redo Wild Bill's hat, so this thing takes a lot of abuse. I've seen 25, 30 people up here at a time taking photos. It's really...
How much does this go for?
Uh,
Everything has a price, right?
everything has a price. This would cost a lot simply because of
size.
the size and then what it means to Deadwood. You know what I mean? Like on holidays and stuff, families that live here, they bring their relatives, and you got to get a picture in the big chair. You got to get a picture in the big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the sentimental value of this would definitely outweigh the actual value, and that's probably where I'll leave that.
Is it matter the size a lot about when you carve, or is it the
Oh,
same
for sure.
amount of intensity no matter what?
When we're doing production pieces, yeah, we charge by the foot, right? And that kind of keeps prices consistent for everybody. You know, if we're doing an eagle like this right here, it's
Well, I know it's going to take longer because of the size, but is it like when it goes to like the intricate details and doing all the little like finishes and everything, is it the same kind of like those details or not really?
I'm sorry.
So like doing like the intricate details of everything, is it like the same regardless of what size though, or just?
Well, on production stuff, for sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, you're gonna cut your lines in, make your feathers, make your tail, right? You're gonna do it that way.
Got it.
But if you look at something custom, like that one piece eagle right there, where it's spread out, no, that's a different type of art. That's you're making that, right? Yeah. But a lot of these come from photos.
That's true.
I have a lot of references when I want to carve something. Well, how would it look? Oh, I've got a photo of it, and then I can't draw, I can't paint. I'm terrible at that, but with a saw, for some reason,
Have you ever messed up really bad?
I make a lot of firewood still to this day. Like, you should have got a hold of me before you get camping, because you could have had all the wood.
Oh my goodness! So that bison, so that's the one that you did.
The elk there?
The elk there.
Yeah, so that is a joint project. Yeah, I worked on that with Jordan. That's actually 6 different pieces
Oh my
put together.
goodness.
And the sheer size of that alone is, it's a life-size elk. And then the antlers are real.
I thought so. You know, I
Yeah.
had a feeling.
Jordan can carve and like nobody I've ever seen, and I kind of have a thing for it, but I can't carve antlers like that.
Who does the painting?
There's no paint on that. That's all.
On some of these pieces.
Oh,
Okay. I could tell that one.
yeah.
on
No,
there.
I do. So that's why there's a lot of overspray. I'm not much of a painter.
So,
Most of the color, though, honestly, Sparkle, most of the color is burned into it. Like on an eagle, that's all fire. That's,
I could tell the difference
yeah,
between the paint.
but
and
like
that.
when you do a raccoon or whatever, you just kind of make it look like a raccoon. I'm much better at cutting it than I am painting.
So people ask you to do some bizarre stuff that you're like, I can't do that yet. And then people come here with requests of, can you carve this or that? For
Oh
me?
no, we do custom work all the time.
So you've never
Like
said
literally.
no?
I don't like to do pets. You know what I mean? Because people have high expectations of that.
They want it to be exactly.
And if I make somebody's Yorkie and they don't want it, I've got a Yorkie and I don't. You know what I mean? So
Oh my God.
I don't like to do pets. Some of the projects that Jordan's worked on and that I've been able to help tiny bit have been like mermaids, and they're headed to, I'm not sure where it is, maybe Wisconsin, to do a life-size horse with a statue and Jesus on his back, like the rapture on the
Wow.
back, for some church up there. But no, it's Sparkle, I got lucky. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. I've missed so many opportunities in life, but this one was right.
I
So,
love that. That's so cool. Well, I want to see you get your hands dirty, so let's see you create.
Okay, well, we'll do a piece that I started. This is a piece I started last year, and it was going to have bib overalls on it, but I'm sold out of hair bears, and by hair bear I mean like just full hair like this.
Okay.
Those are the ones I did this morning, but I'll start and I'll shape his ears and I'll just start carving, and just if you need to interrupt me, do.
Does it go well in California? We have all our black bears or brown bears.
Yeah.
Like whereas where I live, because I live near Yosemite. So this would be great. You'd be selling all of these beers over there.
You know what's funny is I ship a lot to California. I do. I ship a lot. I've got a bench out there that was here for a long time. And the lady, I didn't know that ice bars were a thing, but it says cold water ice on it. And she bought it for...
is great. No, thanks for letting us in your little lair. I love it. So pretty. So yeah, where can people follow you on Instagram, especially if somebody has a request or something?
Just an old cowboy. It's one word.
Just an old cowboy on
It's all
Instagram.
one word, yeah. And they can also find us at adultschainsawart.com. So.
Sounds great. Thank you for taking us on a tour today.
Hey, you bet.
It is so great to see you here at convention. I met you at the last convention, and I think you're awesome. So tell our
time
viewers
coming, yeah.
what you're running for.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Adrian Ayub, and I'm running for State Assembly District 67. It's very flippable. It's cross-county district, 3 LA County cities, 5 Orange County cities, and the leadership of our party says it's winnable. So let's win it, and I'm running to break the supermajority in the state legislature and make California great again.
I love that. And what I love about you is that, you are trying to break a lot of barriers, social norms, what people have thought about. We're both a Middle Eastern descent that are in the GOP.
And Latino.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I see a lot of Latinos coming around.
Yes,
I have
yes,
seen that.
yes.
But now you're seeing maybe more Middle Easterns are
Yes,
coming
yeah.
around. So you've been very active in the party. What have you seen since you've been involved?
Well, I've seen periods of disunity, but more recently, let's say at the last OC-GOP meeting, with this pending special election from new scam, I believe the Orange County GOP is very united, and the Inland Empire circles are very united too. And our main focus as a party is to defeat this scam and prevent redistricting and further suppression of Republican and libertarian voices in our state. As a former libertarian,
So when did you switch parties?
I would say I grew up we're all our story, what we made. I wasn't raised Republican. I mean, I've had family members who were Democrat politicians. My aunt was mayor of Huntington Park. I've also had a relative who was on a commission for human affairs in San Diego. I'm a product of my upbringing. My parents are both, they're first generation, right? They high school sweethearts.
Oh, I love that. That's good.
My dad told me a story of my mom saying, "Hey, we need to go vote." He'd never voted before in high school. She said, "We need to go vote for this guy, Bill Clinton." And my dad told me a story recently, and he said, Bill Clinton, and they did vote for him, and the first thing Bill Clinton did when he got into office was lay off 400,000 public sector workers to balance the budget. So it's hilarious now that there's so much rage over Trump making cuts, which we know that as a city council candidate, I found out that the high-level administrative positions are the biggest line item. If we need to balance the budget, sometimes there needs to be layoffs and encourage those people to go into the private sector where all the revenue is generated. Public sector generates no revenue. So I was raised, my father got into real estate. He grew up in with a single mom or later a stepdad, in a poor area in Artesia. And he got into real estate and just entrepreneurship in general from attending a Trump University seminar. And then, of course, Kiyosaki. So I would say my parents weren't married. My parents were high school sweethearts, but when my dad would come to pick me up, he would instill in me the teachings of Kiyosaki and some Trump University books. So I would say that I was a fan of the current president even before he came down the escalator.
Wow. I mean, it's really interesting. You've had quite an experience there.
Yes.
You got into real estate a little bit as well?
Yes. So I was, like I said, when I was growing up, it was kind of like rich dad, poor dad. I would say my mom's side of the family, working in public sector, and they believe, go to college, right, and get a degree and just work for 30 years, try to get a pension. Mm-hmm. And my father, someone without a degree, and someone who came from a poor area, right, with a lot of crime, I saw him elevating his lifestyle, new cars, new houses, and I later found out that it was through real estate. He was a licensed, but he was a speculator, right, just a deal maker. And I saw his quality of life increasing. And so when you have that as a kid and you see like a case study of a family member get successful from nothing, later on when I reached the age where I wanted to decide what to do with my life, my dad did drop me off at an office where there was real estate, mortgage people, and insurance people.
So that's how you got into all of it.
Yeah, and then I'm currently, like I said, a Keller Williams agent. I'm moving into commercial, but I also interned at a Keller Williams office. So I was in WFG and Keller Williams interning at the same time when I was around 20. But I elected to go my own entrepreneurial route, and I started my own real estate flipping company in 2018. Later got a partner who was a friend of a friend, right, who was an accountant and an early crypto adopter. So we worked together. I did my first couple deals in the local area, Norwalk, Whittier. And then we expanded, and the state of California is just so hostile to business and real estate professionals that I elected to start doing business in other states that are more friendly and tend to lean more red. So I would say, like in the party, I've been in electoral politics less than a year. I've made strides because I dedicated my whole 20s to entrepreneurship, to Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, Ty Lopez, with the base from Kiyosaki and reading Trump University. So I'm very glad to be an outsider in this party. I think we need that fresh thoughts, and we need that hustler's ambition.
For sure, definitely need that. It's interesting being in real estate. Did that kind of like inspire you to become more Republican, because you've seen a lot of what's been going on? So I think you have that perspective, right?
Yeah. So you were asking, when did I make the transition? So,
and I'm wondering if this has anything to do with it too a little bit.
So I've always, when I was in high school, I was in Model United Nations, and I was also in broadcasting. And my main focus politically was studying foreign conflicts, studying the Syrian civil war, studying the Ukrainian civil war, it was called, back in 2013, before it became the Russian war, right?
Yeah.
So that was my focus. I always cared about what was going on in maybe my ancestors' lands, right? And how can we, bring peace to the world? So as a libertarian, just given my area I grew up in, Cerritos, it is now very blue. So, and when you go to public school, we are indoctrinated to believe in the pro-choice agenda or the pro-abortion agenda.
Right.
We are groomed to accept transgenderism, LGBTQ, unlimited. And I've met a lot of exceptional gay and lesbian conservatives in our movement who don't make their sexuality their personality. And they do stand up, just as we see with Gays Against Groomers. And I think that's beautiful, to just not try to push your ways on others. And that's the libertarian take. I would say once Trump was president and I just saw my opportunities as a young small business owner go up, and that of many other minority small business owners who were traveling the world. We were going to conferences all across the country. Air flights were cheap, revenue was good, right? And then COVID hit. And I saw what I worked so hard to open up 3 offices, high-rise, in my hometown. No college degree, no background, didn't get a penny from my dad or parents. My mom doesn't, have anything. And I saw that fight, and I saw the state try to shut down our operations. And so my personal mission for running is I'm a young minority man who has known what it's like for the state to swing the banhammer on your business and just try to crush all your dreams. We had a business for fund recovery with the state controller, and when we were trying to help our clients to get the funds they need the most when COVID was hitting, the state controller's office was working on skeleton crews.
Wow. So how have you seen because the real estate market, you've seen that go all sorts of ways. Do you think that it's going to get better, that Trump's in office? You think it's gonna get better? What have you noticed?
Well, I believe the president is going to sign a national emergency declaration when it comes to housing. This is long overdue. My father, in 2019, he said that it was a bigger bubble than the bubble he was a part in, and felt the crash and the downfall of our whole housing market. So it was a bubble back then. Then during COVID, we saw artificially low supply because boomers control most of the housing stock, right? But they were also the most fearful of COVID, because COVID really did afflict some elderly.
Right.
We can agree on that. So when you have artificially low supply and then also artificially low interest rates, that led to the perfect storm of this insane crisis where young people cannot achieve the American dream of homeownership. The biggest wealth building tool is family formation. Young guys can't even get out of their parents' house nowadays.
That is really sad, and I have seen that a lot. So there is a lot of. So when you, if you get elected, what's like your main goal that you would like to accomplish?
So, like I said, we all have our own intake. No elected official can be an ace of all trades. We all bring our own unique background. We have attorneys that go into public office. We have police officers that are pursuing office, like Bianco, right? So we all come from different backgrounds, wanting to give our take. I currently serve on the local government relations committee with my realtor board. I'm also a member of the ICSC for retail, the International Council of Shopping Centers, which retail because in order, let's say, to develop a city, let's say out in the desert, right? We have all this land that's undeveloped in California, all this space, right? Not everyone can live along the coast, right, in the valley. We're kind of all crammed here, right? There's not enough housing stock. Okay, so we need to, my 3-step plan for trying to fix that I would prioritize as a member of the state assembly is one, limit or restrict foreign buyers. As an agent, I've found there's a lot of foreign money that can dominate and kind of push aside first-time buyers, Americans, right, who deserve housing to pursue the American dream. Then 2, I would also limit or look to restrict hedge funds from owning the housing supply. And then 3, just build, baby, build in the interior. Streamline the process, invest in the infrastructure. And cities, let's say in Kern County, California City, they're opening up an ICE facility out there, for instance. I had the mayor come down to speak to my real estate group, right? He's a Democrat, he ran as independent, but his city is having an ICE that's going to create 1,000 jobs. We have all this land in the inside of California, but the state legislature, which is a Democrat-run, supermajority, they are only focused on high-rise urban, high-density developments within suburban areas, which tend to lean Republican. So everyone's focused on the voter ID initiative. Everyone's focused on maybe repatriations, right, of criminals and allowing ICE to pursue those public threats, right? But I see, just having gone to realtor events and conferences, I see that the California Association of Realtors is influenced by the radical left with that agenda of turning the red areas blue through high density developments. And a statistic that was presented to me recently was that 70% of renters vote Democrat. And then we see the people that own property, and we see the Inland Empire contingent, and it's pretty solid red because people move to those areas to have space.
Right.
It's not like West Hollywood, where you have 5 people living. And that's part of the agenda for the 15-minute cities, own nothing and be happy. So I'm the individual and I brought up at the Anaheim Republican Assembly recently, I said, guys, the big elephant in the room is SB 9, SB 10, SB 79, that would allow developers who are just motivated by profit, but they don't care about the well-being of the community. And I'm really running to restore local control over development. You need the local government is the most important. They need that autonomy to do traffic.
I agree with you.
They need to be able to do traffic impact analysis as well as crime impact analysis before allowing any development, and no high rise in the suburbs. That's where all these I'm pro legal immigration. Our society has been enriched. In my city, Filipinos and Indians are so successful. There's so many successful Armenians, right? In your community that you've seen. So legal immigration can be a blessing to society. But
very much, yeah.
They come here, and we'll transition to the next segment. They don't want projects right near their hardly worked for single family homes. And then also the 2 other issues, of course, are the homelessness and the crime. In my assembly district, it is actually majority minority. Assembly 67 is Anaheim, Western Anaheim, South Fullerton, Buena Park, La Palma, Cypress, Cerritos, Artesia, Hawaiian Gardens. It's majority minority. Small business owners have been victimized by mass burglaries, where you have 30 youths or men just burglarize an Indian Bindi jewelry stop. store. Or in Anaheim, there's an Arab business where they attempted to steal from, and the owner had to fire off shots just to get them. So I've spoken to many in the Middle Eastern community, Indian, Filipino. They are sick of the crime. They are sick of Prop 36 not being funded. In LA, where many of our friends live, we see drug-related crimes where the perpetrators are clearly, out of their minds, at an all-time high. In Beverly Hills, in West Hollywood, there's all shootings. So Prop 36 has not been funded. New Scam has $250 million for this special election, but they don't even have $50 million to fund Prop 36.
Wow. Well, you were very interesting. Where can we follow you so we can see all of your views? What are your social media platforms?
My social media platforms, I would just put, here's my shirt. This is symbolic of the mountain that I'll have to climb, right? And kind of, like a Lebanese mountain. You can find me at just Adrian Ayub for assembly.com or Adrian Ayub on LinkedIn, Facebook.
Instagram,
I'm a public figure.
yeah.
It's just what I stand for.
There we
Adrian
go.
Ayub. And my motto, I love it because it teaches people how to pronounce my last name. Choose Ayub for assembly.
I
67.
love that. Thank you so much for talking to us today. And everybody follow this man. So great to see you today. So tell us what you are doing here at the California GOP.
Well, I met the GOP over here, and I'm very, very much involved. I'm very much involved in Make California Great Again. It's an organization. It was founded by Joe Reitkopf. Very, very instrumental in doing everything that we can to make our state, our great state of California, better.
When was that invented? Make California Great Again.
She came up with Make California Great Again. Approximately 2022, okay, and trademarked the name, as a matter of fact.
Well, I mean, that's when everything was going downhill, so it was like we got scared, like we got to make California great again. And so where do you think we are in the process of that?
Where we are in the process right now, it's going to be a longer process, actually, as a matter of fact, because of the fact that we have to get the word out to people, okay? Actually, what has to be done, I should say, what really needs to be done in California. Not make new laws, but enforce the laws that we have on the books now. Get behind our different people that are running for office, make sure they understand what's happening with our great state, make sure they understand if they get into office, how things have to be changed. I mean, people don't realize that we don't need new laws. We just need to go in and enforce the laws we presently have, you see.
Right, and you're also in entertainment. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that is quite a long story. Okay, to make a long story short, I will begin at the probably the peak of my beginning of my career, and that would be going to USC, becoming involved in a movie called Nixon. I was brought in with Oliver Stone's his production company.
So you mixed acting and politics from day one? I love this story.
Well, not from day one. Not from day one.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? So when you got into acting, it was a political movie.
It was a political
movie.
So
that's yeah.
But that was when you say that, you're probably completely correct about that, because it was very political, and I began with a political movie there, and being involved as becoming involved in the movie as a bodyguard. I was not a bodyguard, a Secret Service man, okay, for President Nixon in the movie.
Right.
In the movie, and so I became involved in that movie early on. I didn't know that I wanted to actually, become.
You weren't sure at that time.
I wasn't sure at that time, but I became fully entrenched.
What did you study in USC?
I actually was going to school for architecture. And how that came about was that
you have good style, so I can see it.
How that came about is I had a girlfriend that she says, What are you doing? What are you doing bartending? It's so beneath you. You should be doing something other than bartending. I said, like what? She goes, well, my brother Todd is doing background work over at Sony Studios. I said, oh my God. I said, I can do that. I said, I was doing acting when I was in high school. So I began to look at the trades and found out that they were doing an audition. They were having auditions for Nixon. So I went to go audition for Nixon, and lo and behold, Oliver Stone was there holding auditions, and he said, "Excuse me," he said, "You, yeah, come over here." He says, "Can you read this line for me?" I said, "Sure, absolutely." So he says, "Walk there, walk this way," and he says, "I like your look." He said, "Are you Italian, Mexican, Latin American?" I said, "No, I'm Italian." He says, "Good." He says, "I need someone that has that kind of a look." He says, "I need your type of ethnic look." So he put me in the movie. Go get your SAG card. I got the SAG card. Came back to the set, and that was the beginning of my acting career.
I love that. What a great story.
Yeah. Well, from that point on, became fully entrenched in acting. I loved it so much. I says, you know what? I have a love of architecture because I'm going to school for architecture. I received my degree in architecture, but my acting, my agent said, "Rocco, you don't have to leave acting just because you're involved and you became you got your degree in architecture. Keep your SAG card, and as you get older, become a character actor. Keep on acting."
Did you do set design with the?
I have done set design,
I would
but
imagine with architecture.
but that's getting into the weeds. too many feathers in my cap. But no, I have done set design with being in an architectural office.
And then you got into directing, so it all kind of makes sense.
And I got into directing. Now, just recently, I have done my third production. I have another production coming out. It's called The Table Read, and I'm trying to appropriate money for that production, and I have 6-7 different people that I have in mind. I won't say who. 6-7 people in mind for the principal actors.
Love that.
For the movie.
Well, we are going to keep posted. We're going to follow you on all of your platforms. Where should we? Are you good at posting? Well, you're not that good at posting.
At posing?
Posting on like Instagram
posting,
and stuff.
posting.
I was like, wait a minute, I don't know. You have a private account. Do you have anything public that we can kind of follow you on? So
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Vimeo. So you can follow me.
Because we want to see like the production and all that you're doing with that.
Go on Facebook. Absolutely.
Where do you live? What side of what area?
I'm in Los Angeles County. I'm in Valencia, is where I'm located.
Oh, I love that.
And my
area.
studio's in Marina Del Rey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I lived in LA from 2004 to 2017, and I remember during that time, I was on that movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, and I remember when I was there, it was like, oh, I'm a Scientologist, I'm a this, I'm a that, everybody was strong in the Democratic Party. I always felt like I had to keep being a Christian and being a Republican on the hush-hush, you know what I mean? That's how and now it's like, obviously I don't do that anymore. How is it for you?
How is it for me?
Yeah,
in regards to what?
Being like a Republican in the entertainment world?
Well, let's put it this way. Being a Republican in the entertainment world is kind of taboo. You don't tell anyone. I mean,
right, exactly. That's why I
don't.
kept it on the hush hush, and you know what I mean. And so,
Yeah.
But you're here now. Yeah. We're doing this, and now you're outed.
I'm outed, but don't be talking about this.
Don't tell anybody else.
Don't tell anybody else that. No, people in Hollywood nowadays, they're coming out with their political views. Maybe not very loud, but they are, making their voice being heard. Like look at John Boyd, look at Gary Sinise, Sylvester Stallone. There's a lot of people that are coming out.
It's great, actually. I love
and
that.
they should actually do that. I mean, why should you be stifled and your voice being, smothered from being heard? You should let your voices, your points of view be heard by the public, and you shouldn't be hushed. Like you said, that reminds me, when you say hush hush, it reminds me of LA Confidential.
Well, I was going to say the DL, but either way, down low. Couldn't be open about it. Now it's great that we kind of can. It is great we have people like that kind of being able to do that. And so, have you thought about doing any type of political movies now and bringing this Make California Great Again a thing that we could see on the screen?
Well, I'm doing another movie also called The Cartel. Now that's very political in regards to the immigration problem that we have. Okay, so that will be coming out soon.
And so when people do kind of find out that you are with Make California Great, what's the response you've heard in your industry?
Well, I haven't really actually advertised that too many places, but I have advertised it somewhat that I am involved because I mean I think everyone that actually wants to be involved with helping California become a better state, and that's what it's all about. Make California Great Again is an organization, like I said before, that was founded by Joe Reitkopf in 2022, and we are going out and we're talking talking to many people about what we can do about the economy. California's been in the red for years, okay?
Right.
And Gavin Newsom is not helping. Not to get into the weeds about that, but long story short, people need to think about the economy. We need
Right.
to think about the immigration problem that we've had here for years. Need to think about our global presence. Okay,
Right.
how do we fit? Where does it fit in the pecking order? You know,
Right.
in the United States.
That's a very good
Are we a
point.
number one state, number two state, number three state? We don't. I mean, people.
Right.
You know, we should be a very, very number one state. As a matter of fact, since we're so large, like Texas.
Right. And I was wondering, with the recent fires that happened, you know, there's a lot of controversy about that, you know, we should not have had the water shortage, that was a Gavin Newsom Democrat thing, that, you know, a lot of our actors were affected by that have their homes in the hills were burned down. Do you think they're finally starting to come around and see some of these issues that they initially were supporting, and now they're like, wow, they're personally affected, they kind of see what we were talking about all along? Do you feel that, or have you heard that conversation?
Well, yes, absolutely, and that opens another you know, Pandora's box, because of the fact that affects me as an architect. Okay.
Right.
In regards to what can I do to help these people rebuild their homes that have been, you know, destroyed? What can I do to help the community? Okay, mend and heal after the devastation.
And big is, what can we do not to avoid this again?
And most of all, how to avoid having it happen again.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's what the initiative is about, Make California Great. I feel like that's what you guys are doing.
Another point of view. Another point that you're making is that we want to become involved in rebuilding, okay, and renovating California in many areas besides Pacific Palisades or Malibu, and you know, what's the other? Malibu.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was actually everywhere.
It was so widespread this time. It was
But
really
the
out of
problem
control.
you have now is because of what you have now. The problem you have is the insurance companies do not want to pay the homeowners. It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
If they don't get the money back from the insurance company, you can't go ahead and, you know, pay the money to have your engineer, people clear your property, to go ahead and pay the architect and engineer to rebuild your structure. So it's very, very, very bad. And I want to go ahead and see what I can do to help people in that regard. Absolutely.
So how do we become involved? People that are watching, like, oh, I want to do the Make California Great Again. I want to become involved in that movement. Where do we go? Is there a website?
There is a website. Okay, our website is Make California Great Again website, and I have a website on Facebook. It's the Make California Great Again website, Italian and Sicilian Coalition.
Nice.
That's where you can go to. Become involved in knowing what the organization is about, and how you can help the organization, how we can all get together and help California. Let's put it that way. It's a movement to help California, to make California great, better, and the way that it should be, the shining city on the hill.
And I feel like people are thinking that this is like a Republican thing. I mean, we are at the GOP convention, but how are the Democrats responding to this? Because I feel like they might be on board because everybody wants to make California great. This isn't really a Republican thing.
Yeah, it's not a Republican thing, or it's a Democratic thing. It's
our thing.
It's a people thing. We are people that should work together. I don't care what your politics are, what's your religion, what walk of life you come from. If you live in this country, if you live in this state, I should say, then you should become involved in helping this state mend its problems, and the problems with the economy, okay, with the immigration problems, with the way that we get our fuel, or not our fuel, but the way we help the farmers and the industry and the agricultural system. I mean, we do so many things in this state, and we spend money every day.
Right.
Ridiculous money is being spent on frivolous things that shouldn't be spent on. Put the money where it's really best served, and that's what I'm saying. Just help the state.
For sure. Have you heard Democrats responding well to this, though, from your perspective about the Make California Great Again?
Very few Democrats have
because
responded.
they're thinking it's part of the Make America Great Again. So they're like, yeah.
Correct. Very few Democrats have responded to the movement because, it's like.
But it is separate than Make California Great is separate than Make America Great Again. It's a different, it's kind of different, basically is what you're saying because we're.
Well, it's different, but then again, it's along the same line because you're
along the same line.
Because you're saying let's make America great again, let's make California great again by changing our laws,
But this isn't about Trump, really. This is about California.
Is not about
so that's what I'm getting the difference. You know what I mean? Because some people are like thinking that, and it's
I know
like,
where
but
you're
it's
going
different.
with
You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm trying to say that it is different.
It is different.
Yeah.
It is different. This is not a Trump thing. This is not a Clinton thing.
We're just piggybacking off a good move, on words. So
absolutely no. This is we are concerned about our state.
Right.
No matter what your politics are, no matter what your creed, race.
So I hope people see that and understand.
They should understand.
So that we can understand that
absolutely.
That's the mission.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that you're part of this. And that
I'm
here today
I'm part of
this.
this. I'm a big part of this, and I want to become really instrumental in changing the state in how badly it's been ripped apart by all the different things that's been happening to our state. And putting the right candidates, putting the right people in office. Like, we're here right now at the convention, and we're looking at various candidates like, Chad Bianco, Leo Zaki, David Serpa. These people are great candidates. Now, what we have to do is look at all the very, very well-qualified candidates and then choosing the best one out of the lot. And I think that's what we should do. Look and see, and basically, more importantly, read about the different candidates and what they stand for.
Let's educate ourselves.
Educate yourselves. That's correct.
Right.
And that way you'll know who you want to vote for and vote for the best qualified person.
Well, I'm waiting for your run, but I hope that's coming up.
My run's going to be coming up, but it's going to probably be not quite exactly tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. And I think I'd be better served as a congressman or councilman.
I would love to see it because I see you're doing so many cool things. And we're going to keep up. We're going to follow you on all the platforms.
Please follow me.
And it's under what's the name that everything's under?
The name that it's under.
It's Rocco
Vitalia.
You
can go to Rocco.
That's for all of it across the board.
Across the board, ROCCO.
Awesome. Okay.
And then Vitalia is Vitalia for anybody out there that wants Vitalia. Rocco Vitalia, and you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find me on Vimeo and YouTube.
You are so dynamic. Everybody follow this, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for talking to me today. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Well, I am here at the GOP. So tell us what you are running for, Armen.
Thanks, Sparkle. So Armen Kurdian, I am running for California State Senate District number 38, which covers Orange County and San Diego counties. Mostly San Diego County. It's very coastal, so it goes all the way from Pacific Beach all the way up the coast, Oceanside, my city of Vista, through Camp Pendleton, up into Orange County. So a lot of little towns. It looks like Chile. It's absolutely not gerrymandered whatsoever, but I'm ready and to serve the state of California public services pretty much my entire life.
So what's going to make you different than the competition?
Well, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, veteran, Little League coach, and I make great homemade preserves. I love to cook. I used to collect comic books, and I love spending time with my family. A lot of folks in California don't realize that elections in California are less about issues and more about the actual campaigns. It's not just what you're saying, but how you're saying it, how you're coming across and making a connection with voters. And that is going to be the key to winning this particular district, is being relatable. Okay. I mean, I can't even buy a house myself. Okay. I got a job. I'm trying to put food on the table for my family. I'm trying to put my kid through school. 35 years ago was when we had the same amount of public school enrollment as we do right now. And 1.5 million people have actually left the state. What makes me actually different is I have a lot of leadership experience already in the Navy, 25 years. So I've been on the operational side. I've been out to sea. I have the support side. I have the administrative side. I have program management. I've had hundreds of people work for me in an office kind of setting. Every time I would leave one of these jobs, I would leave to a standing ovation. I only say that because I know how to bring people together. I know how to make a team work. I know how to basically articulate a vision and see it actually executed. So what gets me up in the morning is moving the big rocks. What gets me up in the morning is seeing progress made. What gets me up in the morning and gets me excited is when I see people thriving through achievement and through success. And I know these seem to be very ethereal words, but it's core to who I am as an individual, and it's what drives me, and it's what has made me want to run for this state Senate seat in a state which is very deep blue.
And then, I have to ask this question because we're both Armenian, but we had this conversation yesterday. What do you think it is about Armenians are kind of coming around and being more Republican? Why are we seeing changes, and how do you feel about that?
Well, as I'm sure more and more Armenians are coming to understand, California Haydarak Vijaga. So, Armenians came to this country. My mother was an immigrant. She was born in Tabriz. My grandfather, my father's side, was born in Turkey. And on my wife's side, she's Italian. Her father was born in Italy. A lot of her cousins and family were immigrants to this country. They came to this country legally. They came to this country through the process, through the promise of America, which said, hard work, entrepreneurship, fidelity of who you are, the values that this country holds dear. You hold true to those. You apply yourself, and the limits are gone. The possibilities are absolutely endless in what you actually can achieve. Armenians are very industrious people. My family's full of doctors and lawyers, CPAs, engineers, a lot of very high-skilled individuals. You don't get that through nothing. You get that through hard work. So Armenians understand that. They also understand, where they come from, in Armenia, which is a relatively impoverished country, unless you live in Yerevan, and coming to the United States. Interestingly, I actually have been to Iran, where my mother was born, into Tehran. Last time was 1975, and I still remember it really, really well. And if you've never seen Sesame Street in Farsi, it's something to absolutely behold. So, Persians, Iranians, all the people from that part of the world. The good ones, I'd say 3/4 of the people in Iran, they are beholden to that theocratic regime. They have the same kind of values that the U.S. holds, and that's that familial set of values that they brought to the United States is what makes the United States so great, because we are a melting pot. We are a place where a lot of people can come and achieve great dreams. My father started a travel business, 37 years. He retired. My mother, she got a master's degree. She was a great mom. She worked with my dad. She raised me and made me who I am today. So I think when it comes to the Armenian population, I think they respect hard work. I think they respect entrepreneurship. I don't expect Armenians to vote for me because I'm Armenian. Okay, I don't want people to vote for me because I'm Armenian. I want them to vote for me because of who I am and what I am actually going to do.
Well, thank you so much. Well said. Where can we follow you and see your platform? And if anybody does want to donate, where do we go for that?
Absolutely. So I'm easy to find. www.Kurdian for Senate, Kurdian. I'm also on Instagram, Real Armen Kurdian. You'll find me also on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I got Twitter as well. You can donate on my website. The limits are $5,800 per individual, or as we like to say, $10,600 per couple. You can find out all about me, not just from my website, Instagram, but I've done a lot of local and national media as well. So you'll see me on YouTube. You'll see me on News Nation. I have done a lot of appearances. Even Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. has me on a weekly basis. And the reason I say that is because I have a good ability to communicate. And I'm very dispassionate when I speak. Now, I have my conservative opinions, but I can back them up with facts. I don't believe in just sort of spouting talking points. I don't believe in just bloviating and exaggerating. I can actually make a coherent, cogent argument, and that's why I'm on the news a lot, is because I can talk intelligently on a variety of issues. But for California, it's all about parental rights. It's about schooling. It's about kitchen table politics. It's about the fact that people can't afford to buy food. People can't afford to buy a house. It's about the fact that we're being taxed to death. We're running a deficit, and money's being spent on the wrong things. It's just the very, very basic things that make a family work. We have the highest percentage of people in this state who are having to rent. You know, I talked about people are fleeing the public school system. They're going into homeschooling. They're going into private schooling for those who can actually afford it. Those who can't afford it don't have a choice. They're stuck in their school system, failing schools. You know, they're being indoctrinated. They got to do all these other ethnic studies and things that don't prepare them for the real world. You know, math, reading. They're not held accountable. Teachers aren't held accountable. There's a lot of good teachers out there, but a lot of them also are stuck in a system where they can't actually do the kind of work that they want to do. So California is a beautiful state. It's a great place to live. We're not going to be leaving anytime soon. My wife has family here. My relatives, you know, living in Glendale, living in Huntington Beach, you know, where all the Armenians are. But we're going to be here for the long haul. I believe if you run from a fight, the fight is going to run to you. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm running for California District 38, and that's why people should vote for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Armen. I hope you win.
Shot merci.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. I just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.